It's Ross. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to hop on here really quick and talk a little bit more about this book, Your Story is Your Clout, Your Voice is Your Power, which is going to be tied into the Books and Bangers campaign on Indiegogo next week on September 1st. And also talk a little bit about my trip to Greece. I'm going to start this video off by asking, are you aware that your story is your clout and your voice is your power? Every time I go to like an ancient culture, like a Greece, China, or Guatemala with like ancient Mayans, I always have this sense of what is real, what's fake, especially if you have proof of humanity thousands and thousands of years ago. You have proof of their beliefs, you have proof of their stories. You can see how the influences and the changes kind of cycle through. And so all of a sudden we're here at this moment. And I was like, is there any way to kind of be at peace with all of these ideas, especially, you know, on Instagram? And so I don't make a lot of these videos, but you know, every time you're scrolling, look through Instagram, someone's telling you to believe something, do something, conspiracy this, don't do this. And it's like, how do you come to terms or be at peace with all of that? But for example, so now we know Greek mythology, or some people refer to Greek mythology as legends and myth, but at the time, and it's apparent there on the ground, those people believed that Poseidon was the god of the ocean. They believed that Zeus and Athena was born from his brain. So who are we to say that that's fake, this is real, and all of this? And so how do you reconcile, how do you cope with all of that? Is to be anchored in your purpose. The only way that I notice is to be anchored in your purpose. And what I mean by that is if you have a strong sense of, and I don't mean your purpose as far as your job or what you do for money. If you have a strong sense of why you're here, what your story is, or what your message to others is, I think it's easier to show love and to kind of interact with different ideas, because you know that the only way through this is to be anchored in your purpose. I feel like sometimes, how can I serve that message and that belief and that mission as an artist and as a writer? And so my idea was to put together this little book, and it's a really short read. In another life, I was an English as a second language teacher. So I went to South Korea, was teaching, came back, taught. And this is also my 5th book. I spent thousands on therapy and counseling. I've buried several family members. And so I kind of have a little insight on motivation, self-help, and English. And so I want to put it in one place, and also to tie it into the larger Books and Bangers campaign. So I'm going to read the first section for you. And again, I want to ask you, are you aware that your story is your clout and your voice is your power? Do you trust your story? Do you trust your voice? And do you have a book inside of you? What is the first step that you can take to tell your story? This book is talking about how to write a book for self-help purposes. So not necessarily to move a whole bunch of units or to write to market, but how do you write authentically about yourself? Years ago, I heard this quote, or I read a quote, and it went something like this. It said, "The ink of scholars is holier than the blood of martyrs." And I was like, wow. In this book, I kind of talk a little bit about different types of storytelling. I talk about using your story as a source of motivation by getting in touch with the younger version of yourself, and drop some gems from, you know, some philosophers like Socrates, like a Greek philosopher, Socrates, who was killed by the Greek government for telling the youth to be free thinkers and to believe in themselves, and different authors like Toni Morrison and Maya Angelou. And so it's a really fun way to, I think, get empowered to maybe even verbalize your story to someone if you don't want to write it. Really excited to share this with you, part of the Books and Bangers campaign coming soon to Indiegogo on September 1st.